With knowledge, with intuition, with power. Soul Rise Woman. Begin. Hello, I'm Soul Rise Woman. Today, I want to ask you a question. Are we truly free, or are we just living inside a new kind of chain? The modern era has given us freedoms like education, work life, and social rights. But at the same time, it has also placed invisible burdens on women's shoulders. Being just a good mother or a good wife is no longer enough. A woman is now expected to be strong, successful, beautiful, well-groomed, social, and agreeable all at once. But is this really freedom, or is it simply a new name for another form of pressure? Today we'll follow this question and explore the transformation of women's roles in depth. The evolution of women's roles through history. In the past, women's roles were mostly limited to the domestic sphere. However, with the Industrial Revolution, women began entering the workforce. During World War II, when men went to the front lines, women working in factories changed the course of history. Then, in the 1960s and 70s, the women's movement rose with the fight for equal rights. But when we look at today, we see that freedom also brought with it the pressure of doing it all. It's no longer just about staying at home. Now women are also expected to have a career, look perfect, and remain active in social life. Example: a woman is expected to work full-time while also taking on all household responsibilities. Even when she comes home exhausted from work, she feels forced to fit into the mold of the good mother. This is a typical example of this new pressure, the invisible pressures of the modern era. Today, the number of roles expected from women has increased. She should be successful at work, a great mother and wife at home, always energetic and agreeable in her social circle. And while doing all this, she must also remain young, fit, and beautiful. This situation has been intensified especially by social media. On Instagram, the images of the perfect mom, the fit woman, or the successful career woman constantly push women into comparison. According to an article published in Harvard Business Review, women in modern society often experience what is called role conflict. In other words, trying to meet multiple expectations at once significantly increases feelings of burnout. Note, this is where the issue of expectations also comes into play. I previously recorded a special podcast episode on this topic. If it interests you, I highly recommend listening to it. Example: when a woman simultaneously faces the pressure of, you must advance in your career and you must devote full time to your child. No matter what she chooses, she inevitably ends up feeling inadequate. Cross-cultural comparisons. Women's roles differ from culture to culture, but the shape of the pressure appears universally. In the West, there's the pressure of being the independent woman, a figure who is independent in every aspect, stands on her own feet, and accomplishes everything alone. In our culture, the expectation of the agreeable woman is still dominant. A woman who is quiet, understanding, self-sacrificing, and stays within the boundaries set by society is idealized. In the Far East, women are often judged based on their appearance and agreeable personality. In Korea especially, the pressure to have glass skin, a flawless, glass-like complexion, is very common. Meanwhile, in Japan, the role of the good bride is often defined at a young age through compliance and obedience. In America, being a woman who stands on her own is celebrated, while in Turkey, being a self-sacrificing mother is more highly approved. In Korea, even a single pimple can turn into social pressure. Psychological and biological effects. These multiple roles can lead to high levels of stress and anxiety in women. When stress hormones like cortisol remain elevated, both physical and mental health suffer. Psychological research shows that constant approval seeking undermines self-worth and increases the risk of depression. At the same time, women learning to set boundaries can have a regulating effect on the nervous system. In other words, being able to say no provides not only psychological relief but also biological healing. When a woman refuses extra workload at her job, her burnout decreases while she also protects her health. The solution: choosing your own role. So, how can we free ourselves from these invisible pressures? First, by recognizing them, by asking ourselves, what do I really want? For whom am I playing this role? Drawing your own boundaries and redefining expectations is the first step toward freeing yourself from social molds. And remember, freedom isn't about doing everything others expect of you. It's about choosing your own path. When society says, you must become a mother, but a woman refuses this role because she doesn't feel it within herself, she experiences her greatest freedom. Today, we talked about the changing roles of women. We discussed how some expectations that appear to be freedoms are actually creating new pressures. Remember, true freedom comes from choosing your own path. I am Soul Rise Woman. Until we meet again in the next episode,